Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kim Durama. Welcome to MindBody TV. I am going to be sharing today about accessing your hidden superpowers. And as a doctor, it might seem a little strange to talk about your superpowers, but what I have seen is that we do have the ability to heal. We have a potency in our body that goes beyond anything most people are aware of. Hello to everyone who's joining live. Definitely comment on where you're tuning in from. You can share this with others to invite them to the broadcast as well. Hi everyone. It's always great to have people here. I know there's people tuning in from all over the world, so share a comment on where you're tuning in from. And I'm gonna get started a little bit with really what is my passion about this. Hey, Jersey Mike. So, as a physician, it's been really evident to me, not just in some of the education I've had, but in my own body and what I've seen in the people I've worked with. We do have the potency in our body that can heal virtually every disease known to man. Why are we not activating it? Why are we not understanding this? This has a lot to do with what we've been told to believe. We have been in an environment where we are raised not to think for ourselves, not to question what people tell us is true, not to look curiously and make conclusions and awareness for ourselves, and not to trust ourselves, not to look within, not to look inside ourselves for our awareness, for our wisdom, for the answers. So we've come into this society of individuals who are trained to look outside ourselves, to not question, but just believe what we're told and buy into it. And actually to be shamed and ridiculed if we do go outside the lines, which is insane, right? Like if you're gonna look at things differently or question things or have a different perspective on things, it's completely ridiculed. Why? Well, there's a big reason why we're taught to be this way and think this way and to follow and look outside ourselves for the answers, and why we're taught not to know our power, whether it's in our own sensuality, in our own sexuality, in our own physicality. We are taught that this is wrong. We should not connect that way. We should shut it down and suppress. And this is exactly what underlies every major disease, chronic disease process that we know of. So I'm going to be speaking today on how do we begin to let ourselves know what we know and access the superpower for self-healing. But it actually goes beyond self-healing. When we activate our body is our manifestation tool. Our body is an electromagnetic force field. And what we've seen about physical reality, not just the cells in your body and your health, but that everything that's around you, that physical reality is formed on the template of our vibration, on the template of our consciousness, on the template of our frequency. Everything is energy. So, how do we create a new physical reality? It has everything to do with our own consciousness. And that goes back to letting ourselves know what we know and looking within for our own wisdom. So welcome to everyone who is joining live. Hello to everyone who's watching the recording or listening to the podcast. We're here every week at 11 a.m. Mountain Time in the MindBody community in Facebook. I am also very active in YouTube, so if you're viewing this video in YouTube, you can subscribe and give it a thumbs up and share this video with others, because this is part of a great awakening that we're all here to experience on the planet. When we are empowered, we are not able to be manipulated. We are unstoppable. So as a doctor, I'm bringing this awareness into the practice of medicine, where we really have been taught to fear what we feel, to not feel what we feel, to suppress it, and to look outside ourselves for someone else to help fix us because there's something wrong. And this is a major issue because we're actually meant to be sensory beings. We're meant to feel what's happening in our body. We're meant to ignite the body through that sensory flow, through letting sensation flow through the body. Every single person I've worked with chronic severe pain, fibromyalgia, all kinds of pain syndromes, has this going on where they've suppressed sensation. Pain is suppressed sensation. When we suppress the energy flow through our body, and usually it's like unconscious patterns where we've created tension or restriction or just like shut down energy flow through that part of our body, that we will get pain. Energy can't move. Energy needs to move. It needs to flow and it wants to move. But if we're holding that in place, which happens emotionally, we stuff emotions. They literally get stuck in the body. Those energies can't move. What happens when we begin to just get curious? Like, what's going on here? What if I just loosen up around this pain, move into the pain instead of trying to move away from it? The energy flows, and literally years-long pain syndromes can dissolve, sometimes immediately. That's how powerful we are. We are primarily energy and not just physical. So let's look at this. What have we been adopting, like since a really, really young age? Because science has shown and brain studies have shown that from the ages of 0 to around 6 or 7 are when we're like a sponge, we're most susceptible. Everything we're perceiving and receiving during that time is going to be like in place for the rest of our lives. Of course, unless we consciously change that, which is a big part of my work. Those patterns, though, are really around this inner suppression. Not to question what you're told, not to think for yourself, not to let yourself access your wisdom. In fact, we're told that's shameful and bad and wrong. Do what I'm telling you, don't question it. And then we grow up and that doesn't work out, right? Like, wow, I followed all the rules and I don't have the happy, healthy, abundant, wealthy life I was supposed to have. This wasn't true. But what else do we do? How do we do it differently? So in this broadcast, I really want to share about how to question the reality you've bought into so that you can access something higher. Okay, Nicole, is this why I've been passing out recently? We can look into that a little bit further. Indonesia. Hi, Dr. Kim, you're my favorite human ever. Well, when we are willing to share from the heart and share our truth, we light up, and it's easy for people to love us because we're willing. We are pure love. All of us, we are pure love. But most of us, we've learned that we're not. We've learned we're inadequate. We've learned we're not good enough. We've learned we have to work really hard to get what we need. And so we literally suppress our light. We suppress this, what I'm calling the potency that heals the body. We suppress our life force. We suppress our gifts and talents and strengths. We suppress the essence of who we are. And then we show up in life as this shell and wonder, like, why does no one love me? Why am I not having the wealth and the love that I know is possible for me? We've got to activate this inner light to show up in a way that lets life reflect that greatness. And every single one of us has that greatness. Whether you feel worthy or you don't, you do have this. Okay. Oh, wow. A lot of Canadians are joining here. Germany. Cool. All right. So how do we begin to unwind what we know? One of the exercises I have in my Instant Elevation program is this old belief, new belief exercise. And you come through this and you begin really to see, wow, all this stuff I've bought into that isn't even true, but how do I unwind that? And then all the new beliefs. I am whole and complete in the power of my own inner knowing. I can receive all things with grace and ease. I live in abundance and freedom. How do we actually integrate that? Do I have to reprogram my mind? Well, it's actually a lot easier than that. When we breathe into the heart, it activates this potency in the body. It actually allows repatterning, neurologic repatterning, systems repatterning throughout our immune system and the communications there, throughout our endocrine system and the communications there, which is like hormones, mood, body temperature, sexuality, growth, repatterning our digestive system and all the patterns going on there. Your body is so able to be morphed, so malleable. It's unthinkable that we've created a medical system that sees it as static and unchanging, and that treats the body as if it's static and unchanging. Like, you have fill in the blank. You have depression, you have fibromyalgia, you have autoimmune disease, you have thyroid disease. And then we buy into it as if it's a reality in and of itself. And it's not. It's a state of being that is reflective and expressive of your consciousness. Are you hating your body and walking around in judgment all day long? Are you feeling secretly not good enough and inadequate, but I'm not going to let anybody see that, so I'm going to power through it and achieve so I never have to feel that inadequacy? It's still there. What are you doing? Because you've learned this. You learned you're not good enough. You learned you're not powerful. So then there's anger, because on some level you know this is not true. Or there's frustration because you're trying to overcome it. Well, how do we go back into the source, into the core? We've got to go into that powerlessness where we bought into this in the first place. So if people want to share a little bit, how has this shown up for you in your life? Like, what are you struggling with? What are you experiencing? In our medical system, when we operate this way, it's like incredibly depleting. And then all the medication in the world can just put a Band-Aid. And I'm not saying medication's bad, because sometimes we need to like, whoa, let's stop this train. Let's settle this down. But we got to look at what's really going on underneath this that created it in the first place. Because your body is not a static, unchanging thing. It is always able to morph and change. And so getting back to this piece of when we connect with the heart, it actually lights up a major electromagnetic change. There are neurologic cells, neurons, they're called sensory neurites, in this area around the heart that literally repattern everything going on and every level of your body physically. It's thousands of times more powerful than the power of your brain, which we already know governs so much of your physiology and so much of what's happening. Even the dilation of your blood vessels is impacted by your emotions and your beliefs. Everything going on in your body. Well, what's even more powerful than that is this portal right here in our heart. And if we could settle down and put some awareness and attention to breathe there, relax your shoulders, take a few breaths right now, we actually connect with the infinite part of ourselves. You are an infinite being having a physical experience. You are not your physical body. You could cut off your arm and you still exist. You could cut off your leg, you still exist. We've actually seen consciousness is not centralized to the brain. So what is your consciousness? What are you? You're an infinite being embodying a physical body. And yes, embody that physical body and animate your body and enjoy your body, but don't buy into the idea that you are your body, because this dynamically disconnects you from the infinite power you have access to. So one of the really magical things about this is when we do operate as the multidimensional being we are, as the consciousness, as the infinite self, and just connect with love through your heart, just breathe through your heart, it will do this. You also have connection with other beings around you. When you connect here, you also have connection with other beings around you, everyone in the world. And some of you are already knowing this, you're intuitive, you're empathic, or just you have family or a loved one and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe you just called me. I was just thinking of you. Or you have a question and someone, sends you an email and answers it. Or, synchronicities show up in your life in the most beautiful ways. You are connected with the universe. And you can leverage the universe on your behalf for your expansion. Not for the ego and what the ego thinks you need and want and I want to manifest my reality. No. You can beckon all of this power that's here for you in any moment and live in synchronicity with the universe and live in synchronicity with your highest possibilities. Okay, so let me go back and look at these comments. Randy says, how can this a relationship too. How does this affect relationships? It's very clear that the man I love still has real feelings for me, and neither of us can move on, even though that seems the right thing to do. But having a real relationship doesn't seem possible either, because he doesn't want that. Do I just receive the feeling of what I truly want and let this rise to that, or something else entirely to come in? So the more that you connect with your heart's desire, and in this case, love, connection, being seen, being met fully, expressing the truth of who you are, and intimately connecting with your partner, not necessarily this particular person, but a partner, the more you honor yourself in the equation of that and let it in. So if you can just get really receptive, we're doing a lot of work on this in the Alive Woman program that we're doing right now. And we have a retreat in September where we'll integrate this even more powerfully and integrate all this work we're talking about today. We actually activate changes in that other person. If they are a match, it's not a manipulation. If they are a match, it opens their heart. So the more you reside in your heart, and yeah, there may be ways that honoring yourself is like, yeah, I'm clear, I'm not okay with XYZ. So unless that changes, this is not going to happen. But the more you meet yourself in your heart, the more others can meet you there too, who are a match to connect with you in your physical reality. So I don't know the specifics of what's going on, but I will tell you that the more you can be the softening and the invitation for love in your life, and that goes for anything, the softening and the invitation for health in your life, the softening and the invitation for money and resource in your life, you become more receptive. All the ways we go about, I gotta make it happen, I gotta do it, I gotta tighten up and toughen up and overcome, and I gotta go and manifest my health, you actually block it. And so there may be ways and patterns energetically that you're holding that are not inviting him into more wholeness and intimacy with you. And without really knowing more, I don't know too many specifics, but the more you choose the resonance of that, it literally feeds your cells, it repatterns your cells, it shifts your electromagnetics, the more it will invite in the circumstances and people in your life who can meet you there. Kate says, I was told my thyroid was nearly dead. That's an interesting choice of words, which shows up on the blood work. Are you saying that this form of suppressed emotion, and by being able to breathe into my heart and allowing and accepting, can let the thyroid come back fully? Yes, your thyroid is not dead. It has been suppressed. It may be dormant. It may be overwhelmed. And it's like, I'm trying. And it's depleted. Who knows? But yes, I have worked with individuals and seen many times people get off thyroid medication and have a full restoration of thyroid function. What happens is, even just in our judgment, and this is a big part of what I'm talking about today, how we're taught not to share our truth, not to look and think for ourselves and share what we know, but to suppress that. Well, this is your throat chakra. Your thyroid is in your throat chakra, meaning the energy currents that move through this area of the body will affect the physical cells of your thyroid. This has been shown in medical science. So it's not some sort of weird, fringy, hypothetical idea. It is medical science that we are made of pure energy, and every aspect of our body is affected by our energy alignment. So when even subconsciously we make ourselves wrong, we doubt ourselves, we suppress our own expression because, hey, it might piss someone off, they might not like it, we've been wronged, so I better not go there and just be safe. We learn this subconsciously. It's like a deep integration. It's sending signals to your cells. I have seen, and I can't specifically look at what is going on with you in this forum here, but when I work with people privately, I have seen this, that when they release things like judgment of the body or issues with their mother or ways they've made themselves wrong or felt inadequate and not enough, and so they try to overcome and achieve and do more, and it's this big imbalance that these areas can and do resolve. Labs return to normal. When a client I worked with had a nodule that was growing, They were keeping an eye on that with ultrasound. It went away completely, and her thyroid function was restored, and she no longer needed thyroid medication. So your cells are listening. A great program if you want to integrate some of this is the Instant Elevation at drkimd.com/IEP. But you could take the quiz on my main page, drkimd.com, and it can sort of give you a little bit of specific guidance into what program might be a good one to start with. The Mind-Body Solution for pain release is really, really powerful, not just for those having severe pain, but for those who are having physical, any kind of physical disturbance, physical illness. That might be a good place to start. And the quiz at drkimd.com on the front page can guide you through and give you some free tools that you can begin with now. Maddie says, I've been dealing with chronic illness for the past 4 years, and I've started to see how my thoughts, beliefs, and programs have created illness in my body. All the treatments I've tried for Lyme have not helped. I've felt mind-body medicine is the avenue for me to return to well-being. I've been learning and practicing mind-body medicine for the past 2 years, and while I've gained so much insight and awareness and healing experiences, the physical side of the illness is getting louder. Okay, this is good because that's another point I wanted to make, that we learn in our system, and of course it's rampant in our medical system. Symptoms are wrong. If you're having more symptoms, you're getting worse, not better. When in fact, one of the biggest things that happens through actual healing and expansion is symptoms can intensify. It's energy moving out physically. But because we've only recognized the body as a physical thing, like emotional body, that's not a real thing. Your mental body, that's not a real thing. Your spiritual body, like what? We're just going to look at the physical as if it's separate, which it's not. We haven't been able to see beyond this. So of course, if like physical symptoms are worsening, oh my God, you're getting worse. But we actually process and release energy sort of in like a hierarchy, mental, emotional. We can work certain things out until there's so much suppression. It can't work out, and it will work out physically, but that's actually the most superficial layer. That's where things are working out more superficially, and you may just physically work it out. You have an illness, you get better, there you go. It's when things get stuck that it becomes chronic and the energy doesn't move. It gets stuck, and then it moves into the mental, emotional systems. People become depressed, they develop anxiety, they get worse and worse and worse, and it's like, what's happening? When we suppress physical symptoms, the energy needs to go somewhere. It goes into the mental and emotional body, and it can get really stuck for years and years and years, and people can live with chronic depression, chronic anxiety, all kinds of mental, emotional disturbances and patterns because we're not adept at letting energy move physically, which is really what my programs are about with the Instant Elevation, with the Mind-Body Solution for pain release, is how can you let that energy move physically so it doesn't need to go to those deeper layers mentally and emotionally. So I would look at ways you've made it wrong when you feel these symptoms in your body, and instead of making space for them to move and nurturing your body, I'm not saying ignore the physical body. I'm just saying don't suppress it. What can you do to nurture that process? What's right about this I'm not getting, and how my body's wisdom is trying to process energy through so that I can be more whole and healthy and accessed. So if we can release those ideas we have about symptoms being wrong or bad, or I shouldn't feel this, or I'm moving backwards instead of forwards as I'm on this path, loosen up around that, because sometimes things come up so that we can make more space for the energy to move. Like, you're conscious enough now, you're ready, and these deep layers of things may come through to express physically and move out. All right, Nicole says, it's interesting, I can easily access others' energy and feel and see things. Yeah, you're super intuitive. But then I'm in this crazy, chaotic, horrible physical state, and when I try to connect with my heart, nothing. Well, sometimes it's a matter of, am I willing to receive, right? I got to do it myself. I got to figure myself out. I got to heal myself. But that isn't necessarily how it needs to happen for you or what's right for you. So yes, tune in with others, but when it comes to yourself, you've got to be really, really receptive. And that may mean letting other people in. I know for me, that's been true. When I try to diagnose myself, like, forget it. I'm like, I have a homeopathic practitioner I've worked with. He's brilliant. And I'm like a deer in the headlights. You'd think by now I'd know, he's educating me about what's going on, but it's hard to see yourself from the outside in the way that someone else can. So be open and receptive for someone to assist you. Who was that? Nicole. Funny. My breathing, Katie, my breathing has been tight and slightly labored since a recent virus. Ivy, I've been working on trusting my body for the last couple of years and not fearing something is wrong when I don't feel well or have symptoms. I feel stuck trying to heal tinnitus. Doctors ignore it or say it's an allergy or inflammation. It tends to be that doctors will ignore what they don't understand. And tinnitus is one of those things that's like, whoa, I really don't understand why someone's having this chronic tinnitus. I have a lot of awareness around that. I've shared in other videos. But when we need to be able to look at things energetically for what's going on in today's medical landscape with chronic illness, it's 100% a necessity. If we're not operating in that model, we're really not going to have many answers or solutions. Doctors say it's an allergy or inflammation. One doctor said, my left eustachian tube is getting stuck. Any suggestions? So there are a lot of things that can help mechanically with osteopathic cranial treatment or chiropractic treatment, especially in the upper cervical spine. Yeah, there's the physical aspect of it, and you can address that. But there's also the energetic aspect of it with tinnitus, which is you're registering a frequency that you're sensing. And so basically, if you have like the fan on or some kind of background noise, you don't hear it, you cancel it out. And then you turn it off and you're like, whoa, it's suddenly quiet. I realized that frequency was there, but I hadn't registered it. Your body will cancel it out. It really only registers new sensory information. Well, when we come into a higher frequency, into a higher consciousness, and with what's happening with the Schumann frequency on the frequency of Earth accelerating so fast, we're actually integrating a lot of higher frequency awareness. A lot. For those of you who are empathic, you know exactly what I mean. And for those of you who aren't maybe as attuned with this, just be willing to tune in, maybe do a little research on that. Like, what is going on? This is affecting our bodies. And the lower frequency energies will come up to release, which is a big part of why I wanted to share today about changing our perspective on what we've been told is true, what we've been told is possible, what we've been told about the body, and just getting curious. Like, is this even true for me? I've believed this. I've been ridiculed if I even question it because, of course, everybody knows. But in fact, most of what we know in science, we've found to be untrue. So be willing to question. And for you, sweetheart, Ivy, as we're registering these new frequencies, if we can come into harmony, so just hear what you hear and relax, 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 it'll actually integrate. If we're resisting, because nobody wants our old world to fall away, it's like I'm standing on this foundation of what I know and what I think is true. It's tension in the body. It won't let these higher frequencies integrate as fluidly. So if you can just relax, sense what you're sensing and relax, it will allow that energy to move and integrate. And I've seen this many times with tinnitus. Energies are trying to move. Yes. Not allowing it to move could be affecting you this way. Yeah, with what they're calling TIAs, or that just the weird symptoms you're experiencing, it's resistance. I mean, I can't say specifically all the specifics of what's going on, but where have you been resistant to integrating what's coming in? Hi, Ruth from Spain. Susan, Lena. What are usually the emotions behind headaches and migraines? I heard someone say anger. This is always my high point of the week. Thank you. So sweet. It's kind of not specific to like, if you have headaches, therefore it's this. It's a little more specific to you. But a lot of times when you think between the head and the heart, the head is exactly what I'm talking about today. Conclusions, ideas, assumptions, identities. This is real and I'm holding on to this reality. And then the heart's like, whoa, way more possibilities are coming in, way more awareness. Everything I thought was true is falling away, and I can let something higher in. When we hold tension between those two, it can create the patterns of headaches. It literally creates physical tension in the neck, which limits flow and drainage through the head. There are many different things that can relate to migraines. 6 straight years. Oh my goodness. Andrea, I wonder if my resistance to certain medications, hydrocortisone for adrenal fatigue, Enbrel for my son's JIA, I don't know if that's juvenile inflammatory arthritis, is my inner knowing, or is it just fear of medications and their side effects? Well, we don't need to fear medications. When we operate in awareness, we may be aware, like, that's not for me, that's not going to be helpful. But it's important to be receptive, like, let me look. So you'll know if you have fear or if this is awareness. Like, yeah, I'm aware that this is not helpful for me. When I do heart-centered breathing, I always feel like everything is all right. I don't know if that's my truth or if I'm just in denial. Well, if you're doing heart-centered breathing and having that awareness, let that awareness in. That would be the smart thing. Because like I said, in this old pattern where we shut down our power, we shut down our potency, these are the patterns. We've been taught not to trust ourselves. Why have we been taught not to trust ourselves? Why have we been taught to look outside ourselves? Why have we been taught not to be sensual and sexual? Why have we been taught something's wrong with you? You're not enough. Why? Just look at that one part and know for yourself. What kind of world are we living in that requires us to be dependent, to be suppressed, to not know our power? It's a world of fear, right? And when we know our power, we are not affected by that. We don't have to fear anything. Period. The end. We know our power. We have infinite power. This is a time of awakening. And when you're willing to question everything that you thought was true, you'll access a higher awareness in yourself. Nicole says, it's true. I keep thinking I'm on my own and I have to figure it out on my own. Well, that's why your reality is reflecting that. Your reality is reflecting you're on your own with this. No one around you can help you. No one around you understands. So just like soften with that. It's a mirror. The outer world is a mirror that will show you your own energy alignment. Liam, is anger and frustration at my symptoms a form of resistance, or is it part of moving the energy? Oh, 100%. It's part of the resistance. So if I'm not willing to feel what is and make space for it, the energy can't move. What's underneath the anger and frustration is powerlessness. I bought into the idea that I'm powerless. And you don't have to fix that. Just meet that. Like, wow, it's true. I have felt powerless. Breathe in and breathe out. The energy will move. The wisdom of your body knows how to do that. Once you let go and stop suppressing, it happens. Michelle from Australia, I loved the MindBody Toolkit. Thank you for sharing. Cool. That's my book. You can get it on Amazon, the MindBody Toolkit. You can also get it on my website at drkimd.com, and it comes with it's an ebook download with a video e-course, which is super, super useful to begin to play with the technology of your body. I think the biggest thing with accessing your superpowers and the theme I'm talking about today is we've been taught our body is just this physical thing. We've got to fix it. We've got to manipulate it. We've got to medicate it. We've got to suppress it. We've got to overcome it. And it's this analogy I think of, like, we've got this unthinkable spaceship with all these incredible designs and technologies that can do unthinkable things, and we're using it as a storage closet. And it'll work as a storage closet, but you're like, I wonder what this body can really do. We haven't even begun to discover. And now that storage closet is like not doing so well, and you're like, I gotta fix this. What's wrong with me? And that's of course gonna be the question, because what have we been taught? I'm inadequate, limited, and not good enough. So it must be what's wrong with me. So we try to whip it into shape. We're like, exercise and eat this way and do better, but we haven't even begun to tap into the technology of this massive spaceship, the technology of our body. Your body is an unthinkable manifestation tool. Your body is electromagnetic. your body can be ignited to express vibrant health for your cells and invite in unbelievable things, synchronicities, abundance, wealth, beauty, that is a reflection of who you really are. And you are meant to live in that state. So if you're willing to let go of everything you've been told about your body, about your health, about healing, about what's possible and not possible in life. Hey, you can't have that. What do you think? Why do you think you could have that? What about everybody else, right? You look around you and you're going to see this limitation reflected as truth. But something in you knows this doesn't feel right. This sucks. What if I'm not limited? What if I just haven't learned to work with the technology of my body in a harmonic way? Deborah says, I've been doing well, feeling calm. I'm in a good place. But this morning I woke up and my entire body was hurting and brain fog. Like my heart is aching with intense sorrows. Can you feel into this? Yeah, this is exactly what I'm talking about. When energies move, that can be what happens, like some kind of intense upheaval. And you ground and you make space for it and it can move. Sometimes really, really quickly. It's like a discharge of energy. But what happens is we've been taught to suppress the body. We've been taught to experience these sensations as wrong. And so now what happens? We're not making space for them to move. We don't even know how to do that. Which is the premise of my work in the Instant Elevation program, in the MindBody Toolkit if you want the book, or just go through the quiz. It's free on the website, drkimd.com, and there's a little icon that says start here, and it'll give you some tools to start with. There's nothing wrong with that experience. It's an upgrade. It's a release of old energies, especially when it's that retracing of like 10 years ago I had this and now it's back. It's energy that's ready to move, and you are more conscious than you were then, and this energy has more space. So make the space, let it happen. It's okay. But we've learned to make it wrong, so of course then it's like this chronic thing. Sam says, you seem to access the wisdom of your higher self easily. Is there a means that you use? Is that the space of neutrality you've spoken of? Yes. This has been years and years of practicing and being willing to trust myself and being unwilling to doubt myself under any circumstances. Doesn't mean I don't curiously look at, wait, what's really true? Let me think about this. But I'm not willing to doubt myself. I'm willing to know what I know. And so it's become more clear and more clear and more clear. And instead of just living it in my, used to be intuitive hits in the ER, or then with, patients I work with privately in my now MindBody practice, now I am operating this way in every aspect of my life, in every second, in every moment, with my husband, with my sexuality, with my children, with my body, food, every aspect of my life, with my family, which is probably one of the most challenging areas for so many of us, because we can get so triggered with these pieces where we've been taught we're not good enough. So then they do X, Y, and Z, and we feel not good enough. But if we're no longer willing to make ourselves wrong, then it's just they do X, Y, and Z. I can let them have it. I can let them be who they are without constantly projecting it on myself or my own inadequacy. So yeah, it's been a really amazing journey for me. There was a lot of doubt in the beginning because it was like, is this weird? Should I tell this patient what I know in the middle of the ER that, their pain is actually related to the grief of their son who died 5 years ago, or fill in the blank? And it was like, oh, is it going to be weird that I even know this? And people would just receive it and look at me and cry, and the energy would move and they would feel better. So slowly and slowly, I let myself trust it more. I let myself know more of what I know and let myself operate this way. Now I understand it. It's really easy. But yeah, it can be weird in the beginning because we really are taught you're limited, you're physical, you're separate, which is not true. You are not separate from anyone or anything around you. You're not limited, you're infinite. So then it's like, whoa, what does that mean? But begin to explore that. Lily says, how long can you hold on to feeling worse as your body's trying to heal? Don't hold on to feeling worse. Just sit with your body. How are you doing? What do you need? What's going on? What can I do to assist? Be with it. Yes, address it. But move to nurture what's happening and nurture yourself through it instead of moving to make it wrong and suppress it. Dr. Christiane Northrup, she actually endorsed my book, and I have worked with her in the past, and she's amazing what she told me. Go forward with your work. I've cleared the path. Other practitioners cleared the path. The space is here. Go forward. Trust yourself. Free yourself. You're free to do this work. Because it was like, can I really do this? And she gave me a lot of encouragement. That meant a lot to me. She explained something to me in The Great Awakening in going from powerlessness to power and knowing, leaving the 3D world and entering the 5D world. It put up light bulbs for me. Yeah, she's pretty awesome. She's an OBGYN, and this is like decades and decades ago, and came out with this awareness of the energy body and how it's affecting every part of our body, and as an OBGYN, how it's affecting us as women and affecting our sexuality. And it was really revolutionary at the time. And she even expressed, I remember when my book came out and I was so scared. Everyone was going to see this part of me. And I was scared. Would they accept me? Would they reject me? Would they ridicule me? And the funny thing about it was, she went into the clinic the next day and it was like, nothing. No one even knew, right? Because they're not reading this stuff. They don't have awareness of this stuff. So you've got to be willing to give yourself the permission to be disruptive of these old patterns where people have believed what they've been taught and not questioned it. But meanwhile, research has gone so far beyond that. And you want to look and know for yourself, not just listen to me and believe what I'm telling you, because that's kind of the same thing. But if it resonates in you with something that something that feels expansive and inspiring and effervescent, explore this. Get your own awareness. Jessie says, I've had neck pain frequently. I've not always thought I need to do more. And I'm doing enough as a mother. And being a stay-at-home mom, it's not enough. I try to move through this lie, but it always resurfaces hell. So I have a program, and we're going to be launching this. I think we're starting it in May, sometime in the middle or end of May, where I bring you through this year-long integration, much, much deeper into the awareness of who you really are and how to operate with this technology of the body, and to clear out all these old beliefs and old identities and old constructs of what you maybe don't even know you bought into, but that's totally holding you back from your highest expression. And it's called Embracing Health. If you subscribe at drkimd.com, you will receive the information, but the link is at drkimd.com/health. And I think right now you can get on the waiting list, but we're going to open up registration soon for people to go much, much deeper into this integration and awakening. So that may be something that makes a big difference for you. I've always thought I need to do more, and I'm not doing enough as a mother, and being a stay-at-home mom is not enough. Well, there you go, right there. Like you're expressing what you know, and feel into how does that resonate in your body when you believe that? Because your body will tell you, is this true or is this a lie? When it's true, it will feel freeing. When it's a lie, it will feel constricting. And sometimes it will feel like a means to an end, like, I just got to work harder, I just got to work harder, I just got to do this thing. But it's conditional. It actually won't feel the same as that total opening. All right, so let yourself know what you know. Liam, I've had some insight. Thinking I need fixing on every level is a lie my consciousness bought into. Thinking I'm defective sends me on an endless journey. And this is really, Liam and everyone here, this is what the whole wellness industry has been based on. And then you need, therapy and a coach and a da-da-da and a diet and what do I got to do? But it's all come around this. How do I fix the problem? So that is not what I'm doing in my work. That is not what I'm doing. And that's a really great insight for you to have. When we awaken into wholeness, those things take care of themselves. You are designed as a self-healing mechanism. So what would it take to open to that and release all the ways I've suppressed that? That's the key. So for more, you can go to drkimd.com. I hope this has been inspiring and insightful and awakening for you. If you're viewing this on YouTube, definitely subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you like this video, share it with those that you love, and you can hit the bell so that you are alerted when I go live or when I'm posting a new video in YouTube. If you would like to join the conversation, we are in MindBody community in Facebook, and I will be here live for MindBody TV every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Mountain. I am sending great love to everyone. I know it's really timely to be sharing this message of awakening and being empowered and ignited, especially right now, because the truth is, which most of us did not learn or learned the opposite, you are powerful and your resonance does have impact. So when we look at things in 3D only, the physical problem has to have a physical solution. And even Einstein let us know, like, the solution does not lie in the same frequency and vibration and consciousness where the problem exists. Hello, Sima. And so this physical problem we're having right now, people are getting sick, there's this virus, there's this thing going on, and we've got to get more respirators and get more hospital rooms. And is that even helping? No, 80% of the people going on the respirator are dying. What is it that will allow us to overcome this and resolve this? So I will just say, what we know scientifically is that electromagnetically, when you come into a higher frequency, your body heals. Your body is resilient. Your immune system can overcome a virus. When you come into a higher frequency, your thyroid can restore itself, or your body can restore your thyroid. Your guts can work differently. Your entire system works differently. But when we are in lower frequencies, lower consciousness, we are susceptible to everything in that frequency. A virus, 5G radiation, toxins in our food, fill in the blank with what we're bombarded with. That is your power. You are powerful. And so letting yourself awaken and question, when there's fear, just question that, because there's nothing you need to fear. So when the fear does arrive, is this even true? Am I okay? Do I have what I need? Am I okay moving forward with this? And see if you can let the fear release and dissipate, because you do not need to function from fear. When you're not functioning from fear, none of these things apply to you. None of those fearful bad things, none of those viruses and pathogens. We've seen this scientifically. So I welcome you to this journey of moving into your expansion. I won't say the journey of increasing your consciousness, because then that becomes another job to do. And we're trying, because the consciousness I'm in is not good enough. No. You are whole and complete as you are. And I get that you might not understand that in this very moment in the consciousness you're in. But what if there's something higher that's possible for me? And I could simply relax my body, soften, and breathe more fully. And that would be the first step to letting this in. Lots of love to everyone. Thanks for being here live. And to everyone listening to the recording, I'll see you soon.